Viewers, welcome back to Daily Retro. Welcome back to the channel in 2022. Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year, and look forward to sharing some brand new content with you guys. So today we're going to be combining sort of some stuff with some Games Room additions. This is going to be something that I've been wanting to do for a while. So we're going to combine some retro gaming related news with some Games Room additions, aka pickups, and just to sort of get the word out about these new bits of news that I found really interesting in the last few months that some of you may or may not be aware of. So the first bit of news that I found really interesting is there is a company on Kickstarter that is basically making something called the Tiny NES. So the Tiny NES is using the same graphics processing chip and the same CPU chip as the original NES and putting it in brand new hardware in something that's obviously a lot smaller, hence the name Tiny NES. I'll leave a link for that down in the description. I think it's about $200, which is reasonable. I think it's already been fully backed, I think, so it's fairly likely it's going to happen and you're going to get your unit. It's an alternative to analog, where you would have to actually spend a lot more than that to be able to get the analog equivalent NES, which was the Super NT, I think, which is now not being made. But to have those original chips in a brand new unit is something that's really appealing to me. And yeah, I've not owned a NES before, but that is something that's tempting me, just because of the original NES. The reliability of them nowadays is getting a bit lower. But yeah, that's just a bit of news I thought I'd share. So on to the second bit of news, something a bit more exciting. So I have pre-ordered an Analog Pocket, the white version. Unfortunately, mine's not coming until Q4, which really annoyed me, to be honest, because I got on the website 1 minute after the pre-orders and added it to my cart. I know a lot of you have done the same. But anyway, that product has obviously been released and a few people have got them, mainly big YouTubers, but also people who are lucky enough to get them just in before mine. And a bit of news on that front is that they've been doing a lot of firmware updates to that product already. Most significantly, the Game Boy Advance display improvements and just general audio improvements for the FPGA stuff, which I think is great. The fact that they're releasing big firmware updates for that product already when it's not actually been released to like the major public. I wouldn't say it's a major release until sort of the majority of people who have pre-ordered them have got them, sort of thing, if you see what I mean. So that's really cool, and I can't wait to get mine. I'm sure it will rejuvenate my love for all of handheld again. So the last little bit of retro news is the fact that the PlayStation or Sony have created a new patent for PS1 to PS3 backward compatibility. So this may be something to do with the PS5. That would be really cool if they could have that backward compatibility. Obviously a lot of people play on original hardware like myself, but the nice thing is if you could play all of your games upscaled on the PS5, obviously you have to buy up certain upscalers for the PlayStation 1 to 1 and 2 especially. So that's a really cool patent that's been registered. I'll leave a link for that actual patent down in the description. It may or may not be for the PS5. It may even be for PS4, say, but who knows yet. It's just something that's really exciting and something to keep an eye on. So without further ado, this is the pickups part of the episode, or Games Room additions. I'm going to keep this section of this series sort of not just on games, but pieces of hardware as well, and just general bits that have been added to the Games Room if I have added sort of, I don't know, stands or whatever. But without further ado, we'll start off with some hardware before I get into some games. So I saw this a while ago on, I think it was the Retro Futures channel, and these are the micro arcades. This is the Tetris version. I'm not sure if it's going to focus, but the Tetris version is absolutely awesome. You just switch it on at the top and it comes on. Pretty fast to boot, and it has literally just one play mode of Tetris, but it's the original Tetris. Even has sounds as well. If I click play. 3, 2, 1, and then the sounds start playing. Which I thought was just ultra cute. But we'll turn it off for now because otherwise I'm just going to start playing it. But it comes in a really, really cool box. I was quite neat with the cutting of the unit out of the box, just because I might display it in the box when I'm not using it, sort of thing. But that was only about £25. They're just actually quite hard to come by because they were only released in America. Obviously there were companies that imported them just because they were very nice, sort of cheap but well-made products. But keep an eye out for those because they do some for like Galaga and Pac-Man as well. And yeah, really, really nice handhelds. Really nice to play Tetris. So right, we'll get on to some... We'll go oldest and newest. So I got some games given to me over Christmas, which was really nice. Just a couple from my brother. And they're both PS4 titles. So that is The Last Guardian. So this is a sequel to Shadow of the Colossus on PlayStation 2. Obviously it was remastered for the 3 and the 4, I think. But I've not actually played the sequel. So I'm really, really looking forward to playing this because it was the Shadow of the Colossus is one of my favourite RPG games of all time. Yeah, still sealed because I've not had time to play console games for obvious reasons at the moment. And then secondly for my brother I've got Horizon Zero Dawn, which I did get from my PlayStation Plus recently, so I've downloaded that on as well. But it has actually, I believe it's got a PS5 update, which is nice, so I'll be able to play that at 60 FPS, which will be very nice, I'm sure. And obviously a very good RPG, and I'm into my RPGs, so is on the list to play very soon, and looking forward to that. So next up is just some pickups from Swindon Retro Game Shop, Retro Games HQ. Pete did me a really good deal on all of these things. They're just ones that I have nostalgia for, really. So we've got Super Mario Advance on the Game Boy Advance. My camera would focus better, that'd be great, but oh well. Another Game Boy Advance game, which is Mario Golf Advance Tour. If you may or may not remember, I did actually have this in the past, but was silly enough to pick up the NTSC version, so me being anal, I picked up the PAL version and just sold my NTSC version. It was only a couple quid more. And then just got one Game Boy Color, which is Lego Stunt Rally, which is actually a really, really fun racing game on the Game Boy Color. And trying to expand my Game Boy Color collection because it is ultra cheap to collect for, and the games are really simple and fun. And this is one of the really good ones in my opinion. Again, all these games were £2 or less, literally. And then lastly from Pete, we've got Assassin's Creed 2, all complete in box for the PlayStation 3. This is a game I've actually got a platinum trophy on. This is my first ever platinum trophy on for any game, so that's why it had a lot of nostalgia for me. This game was groundbreaking at the time. Assassin's Creed 1 was a good game, but Assassin's Creed 2 was pretty mind-blowing. You had the more sort of open-worldy stuff to do, and it wasn't so go off and kill someone and that's it sort of thing. Had some different style missions and a really nice timeline and character and story. So look forward to replaying that at some point in the future. So next up, we've just got some eBay stuff that I got over Christmas/December. Some of it actually came in early January, I think, because of stuff just stopping over Christmas, basically. So I've got another Game Boy Color game, which is probably the most common one you'll ever see, but it wasn't the easiest game to find, and that is Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. Has some secret levels in this game compared to the original Super Mario Bros., which is really cool. It has got saves as well, and the battery's been replaced, so that's nice. And then we've got two Switch titles. So one of them is very, very unique, but I didn't actually know that this first one even existed, and that is Borderlands collection on the Switch. It was only about £20, and obviously you don't get manuals with Switches, but this one has basically the Borderlands game on the actual cartridge, the Game of the Year edition, so all the DLCs included on the first game. But then, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to see it, the second game and the prequel are just come as download codes for the actual game, which is fine. I obviously haven't downloaded them yet because I've been meaning to finish Borderlands. Borderlands is a really good game, but I never actually completed it. So I've had it on PS3 and the PC, but never completed it for whatever reason. I've always started it between house moves for some reason and then just forgotten about it. But yeah, I think I will play it more on the Switch just purely because of the handheld element. And then lastly from eBay was something I had to get from eBay because it's an NTSC game not available in Europe. So this is Dragon's Dogma: Dark Arisen. You may have heard me talk about this game before. It is one of the best RPGs ever made in my opinion, and that is mainly due to the combat system. So if you've ever played Skyrim, you'll know the combat system's not as good as some games, but this has the best combat system of any RPG I've ever played, certainly. It actually allows you to climb on monsters, even things like harpies which fly away, or dragons, or griffins, and it's a bit like Shadow of the Colossus, where you can find weak points on monsters and then that takes away their health quicker. And there's different classes like rogues, warriors, mages. It's just an awesome game. It does take a little while to get into it. It's sort of, you have to sink about 4 or 5 hours before it starts getting really fun. But yeah, that is an NTSC only game for some reason, but I just had to get it because I wanted to play it on the Switch, which just seems like an ideal platform to play a nice open world RPG like this. So lastly, before we round things off, we've just got a few things from the dreaded CEX in Cheltenham. These are just some cheap games, to be honest, but they've been on my list just because I wanted some nostalgia based titles to fill out the collection, games that I've played and completed or have really wanted when I've been younger. So I'm not going to show you all the insides of these because they're really cheap, and honestly a lot of you will find them boring. But so these are all PS3 Assassin's Creed games. We've got Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which I think was number 3, Revelations, which I think was number 4, Assassin's Creed 3, confusing title, was actually the 5th game, and then Black Flag, which was honestly my favourite Assassin's Creed game ever, just because you could roam the high seas on your boat and pillage boats as a pirate. And yeah, that is a game that I think I might have actually got a Platinum Trophy on as well. One of my favourite games of all time, so I can't wait to go back to that one, but I would like to play through 2 to 3 even though it's number 5 before I get back to that. But sure, it wouldn't take me too long to plough through them if I played them before. And then this is a game that I always wanted to get but could never afford it at the time, and that is Heavy Rain. So Heavy Rain is a point and click adventure basically. So you're basically in a thriller movie style story game. I can't believe it, but this is only £1.50, and if you want a thriller style point and click game for £1.50, you really can't go wrong with this game. I remember the advertising on TV for it at the time, which must have been sort of around 2011, 12 maybe even 13, but around that sort of period. And I remember thinking, yeah, I really want to play that. But at the time it was too expensive. I think I was in 6th form at the time, didn't have a job, but proves that it's worth waiting for games sometimes because you can get absolute bargains if you just wait a few years. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that, and Natasha actually showed an interest in it as well because it's obviously a game that doesn't need much sort of technicality, gaming skills wise. So yeah, can't wait to play that. And that's it for this episode, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Leave a comment and a like down below if you've enjoyed, and we'll hope to see you soon with some more retro news and Games Room editions very soon. Cheers.